If thou art not that self, there is no point in attempting to attain it. Whatever comes in the middle goes away in the middle. Anything achieved through effort is lost in the ravages of time.
Attachment is a sin. All your energy gets exhausted due to attachment. It is only due to attachment that you commit mistakes.
The ego is a fort made of playing cards. It may be difficult to destroy a fortress made of cement and bricks, but not a fort made of playing cards. A little self-enquiry from your side destroys the ego that represents the fort made of cards.
Of all the personal observances, food regulation is the foremost and most wonderful one. Practicing food regulation is equivalent to getting 50 out of 100 marks in your spiritual progress.
The good done to others comes back manifold. If you know it, how can you refrain from doing good?
They are wise, who utilize their full strength in directing the ego toward its source.
Don't try to imagine the self. Instead, try to abide as the self.
When you lack the inner preparation and the required eligibility, you cannot see despite having eyes and cannot hear despite having ears. That is, the non-deserving cannot perceive grace.
When your mind is getting controlled, how does it matter where you will stay?
The body carries out the task it is destined to do on this earth. So give up the identification with it. You are not that body. Accept Brahman. Accept truth. Everything is a creation of the mind.
If you were born with 10 evil tendencies, though you may not be able to get rid of all the 10 tendencies in this very birth, ensure that you get rid of at least 4 of them. Reduce the burden of your sins, and then die.
If you cling to the self reveals itself. But right now, what is the basis of your life? It is ego sense. How can the self reveal itself when your life is based on ego? Your life is based upon the thought which identifies itself with the body. Then how can you secure self-realization?
The bliss experienced by a person, devoid of any desire related to this world or the other worlds, is not enjoyed even by the emperor ruling this entire world.
God implies eternal existence. All of you want to live forever. None of you would like to die. That existence itself is God.
You declare, I exist, but you really don't exist. Realizing this is termed as jnana. Realizing the non-existent one to be non-existing is only termed as jnana.
Get rid of ignorance to experience the supreme knowledge. Get rid of the gross to experience supreme consciousness. Get rid of the non-self to experience the self. You are unable to get rid of the non-self. As long as the body and mind remain unconquered, you cannot experience the Supreme Self. Birth and death become inevitable till then. It is only referred to as samsara.
When you cannot perform spiritual practices at home while drinking coffee and eating food on time, how can you achieve something by running away somewhere? Wherever you go, you will be accompanied by a mind. So try to find out a way to reform the mind. Without giving up the ego, a person can never become happy despite having an abundance of material possessions.
If there is an ego, there is you, I, God, merit, sin, heaven, hell, etc. If there is no ego, then all of these cease to exist.
This formless devil called ego takes birth, clinging to a form, grows big, clinging to a form, and dies weeping while clinging to a form.
Every person has a birthday. At least on that birthday, inquire where the I thought originates. Future births are inevitable until the question of I thought gets resolved. Till then, nature doesn't leave you.
Whether you do japa or meditation or concentrate on breath or selfless work, the purpose of all these efforts is the same. It is to get the awareness of what you are, that is self-related awareness.
Jnana is within the heart. First, observe the root cause, which is the actual impediment in securing jnana, and push it out. Only then the truth within will reveal itself. That alone is Brahman. That alone is jnana. That alone is existence. That alone is oneness. Once the self is experienced, there is no more rebirth, death, or sorrow.
For whom is destiny? Destiny pertains to the body. The body is the very first lie. It got associated with another lie called destiny. As you presume the destiny to be true, you become anxious. When you understand that destiny is as false as the physical body, where is the need to become anxious? What is the necessity of becoming sorrowful? Even if you stay amid thorny bushes, you will remain peaceful.
Why do you sell out your ears to the world? Why don't you understand that whatever you hear about the world is untrue? The mind gets polluted if you constantly hear about worldly affairs.
When you become aware that you are not the body, why will you bother about the body's destiny? It doesn't matter whether destiny is good or bad. It is all equivalent to a dream. Sometimes you may get good dreams and sometimes bad dreams. Once you wake up, you realize both of them to be false. All the incidents of life, whether favorable or not, are all but false. Looking at whatever is false, why do you become sorrowful or frightened, or agitated?
For whose sake are you lamenting? Is there anyone apart from you to grieve?
Currently, you have a human body. Nothing is predictable regarding what is in store for you in future births. Therefore, utilize the human body properly and try to experience the truth within your heart. Every physical body dies. Before the body dies, attain the deathless state.
Be and do. That is the principle. To be is your natural state. Be as you are and then perform the work at hand. Be. By being so, you won't feel that it is you who dies at the time of your body's death. You then realize, I exist forever.
If you are the mind, you can worry about it. But you are not that mind. Though you may identify with the non-self, the non-self will never become the self. Understand this first. All the likes, dislikes, and emotions are within your mind. Let them be so, for you are not that mind. If you were the mind should not abandon you even in a deep sleep.
Everything comes into existence only if the ego exists. This entire creation is dependent upon the single pillar called the ego. If the ego gets destroyed, nothing else prevails except the real you. Therefore, as you have come onto this earth, perform your spiritual practices and get released from the ego. Rather than attempting to reform the world, try to reform yourselves. If you get reformed, the world also gets reformed automatically.